This bird's beak is so perfectly designed, it inspired the front of a 200-mile-per-hour bullet train. And that's not even its only superpower. This is the kingfisher. You might have been lucky enough to see one. A quick flash of electric blue and fiery orange zipping down a river. But they are so much more than just a pretty bird. They are master hunters with near-perfect vision and an unbelievably efficient design. I'm going to show you how they can see perfectly underwater, reveal the disgusting secret of their nests, and tell you about their surprising connection to high-speed Japanese technology. The kingfisher is a living arrow. They'll perch on a branch overhanging a stream or a lake, sitting perfectly still, just watching the water. When they spot their target, a small fish or an aquatic insect, they go into a headfirst dive. Their beak, head, and body are perfectly streamlined. This shape is so good at cutting through the air and entering the water with almost no splash and very little loss of speed. It's so efficient, in fact, that when engineers in Japan were trying to solve the problem of their Shinkansen bullet trains making a loud boom every time they came out of a tunnel, they redesigned the nose of the train to be shaped exactly like a kingfisher's beak. It completely solved the problem and even made the train faster and more energy efficient. But how do they see the fish in the first place? If you've ever tried to grab something underwater, you know that the light bends or refracts, making things look like they're in a different spot. This should completely mess up the kingfisher's aim. But they have two incredible superpowers in their eyes. First, they have two foveas. That's the part of the eye with the sharpest focus in each eye. One is for seeing in the air, and the other is positioned to see perfectly underwater. Second, they have a third eyelid, a clear membrane that slides across their eye the instant they hit the water. This membrane acts like a custom-made contact lens, correcting for the water's refraction. They have built-in prescription diving goggles. So they are expert hunters that inspired modern technology. But they live by rivers, and there aren't always safe trees to build a nest in right by the waters. So where do they raise their families? The answer is they don't build nests, they dig them. A kingfisher pair will find a steep, sandy riverbank and take turns excavating a long, straight tunnel. It can be up to 3 feet long, and at the very end, they'll hollow out a small, round chamber. This is where the female lays her eggs, right on the bare earth. And this brings us to the disgusting part. Kingfishers have zero interest in housekeeping. They never clean the nest. As the chicks hatch and grow, that little chamber at the end of the dark tunnel becomes filled with a nasty soup of poop, regurgitated fish bones, and rotting fish scales. It smells terrible, but this disgusting mess is actually a brilliant defense strategy. If a predator, like a rat or a stoat, follows its nose to the tunnel entrance, the overwhelming stench of decay and rotting fish makes it think that there's nothing fresh or good to eat inside, so it moves on. It's a stinky force field. But the kingfisher story has one more big surprise. When you think of a kingfisher, you probably picture the small, blue, fish-eating bird we've been talking about. But the kingfisher family is huge and diverse. For example, have you ever heard the famous laughing sound of the Australian outback? That sound doesn't come from a monkey. It's the call of the kookaburra, and the kookaburra is, in fact, the largest kingfisher in the world. So instead of a tiny blue bird that eats little fish, you have this giant carnivorous kingfisher that lives in dry forests and eats snakes, lizards, and mice. It just shows how amazingly adaptable the kingfisher family really is. So the kingfisher is a true master of its environment. It's a living bullet train with built-in prescription goggles that allow it to hunt with deadly accuracy. It raises its family in a disgusting but clever tunnel nest dug into the side of a river. And its family includes everything from the tiny, jewel-like common kingfisher to the giant, laughing kookaburra of Australia. If you want to dive into the secrets of more amazing birds, make sure you subscribe.